There was a man who woke up one morning and looked in the mirror, and he didn't recognize himself anymore. Not because of the lines on his face or the gray creeping into his hair. He didn't recognize himself because somewhere between chasing comfort and avoiding pain, he had stopped becoming. He had just started existing. And if you've ever felt that, if you've ever looked at your own reflection and felt like a stranger staring back, then this video was made for you. Don't go anywhere. What I'm about to share with you might be the most important thing you hear all year. My name doesn't matter. What matters is that I've sat across from some of the most broken people you could ever imagine. People who lost everything, people who built empires from nothing, people who were told they would never amount to anything, and I've watched what separated the ones who made it from the ones who didn't. And it wasn't talent, it wasn't connections, it wasn't even intelligence. It was something so simple that most people walk right past it every single day without ever picking it up. And I'm going to give that to you today. But first, I need to tell you about a boy named Marcus. Marcus grew up in a neighborhood where dreams were things other people had. His father worked double shifts at a warehouse and still couldn't keep the lights on. His mother did what she could, but exhaustion was the family's constant companion. Marcus was 12 years old the first time he heard someone say the words that would chase him for decades. His teacher looked him in the eyes after a failing test and said, "Some people just aren't built for more." 12 years old, and that sentence lived in him like a splinter he could never quite reach. He grew up, made it through high school by the skin of his teeth, bounced between jobs, relationships, cities. Every time he got close to something real, something good, he would pull back. He would find a reason why it wasn't the right time, why he wasn't ready, why the odds were stacked too high against him. And here's the brutal truth. He wasn't wrong about the odds. The odds were against him. But the odds being against you has never once stopped the right person at the right moment from doing something extraordinary. Marcus just hadn't found that moment yet. Before I keep going, if this kind of story hits you somewhere deep, if you're the kind of person who gets up every morning knowing there's more inside you than what the world has seen, hit that subscribe button right now. This channel exists for people like you. Every single week, we go deep into the stories, the science, and the strategies that separate the people who settle from the people who soar. You don't want to miss what's coming. Now let me get back to Marcus because what happened to him next changes everything. At 34 years old, Marcus was working in a call center, taking complaints from people who were angrier than him, making money that disappeared faster than he could earn it. He had a daughter, 7 years old, and he watched her draw pictures of what she wanted to be when she grew up. A doctor, an astronaut, a painter. She drew it all with this absolute certainty that children have before the world tells them to be realistic. And something cracked open in Marcus's chest when he watched her draw. Not broke. Cracked open. Like something finally getting the air it needed. He started waking up at 5 in the morning. Not because someone told him to. Not because he read it in a book. He woke up because he realized that the hours he was sleeping away were the only hours that belonged entirely to him. 5 a.m., the world was still dark. The house was quiet. And for the first time in years, Marcus was alone with the version of himself he'd been running from. He started writing. He didn't know what he was writing at first. Just thoughts, feelings, observations, then plans, then goals. And then something happened that nobody prepared him for. The work started working on him before it produced a single result in the outside world. See, this is the part that nobody tells you about discipline. It's not just a strategy for success. It's a form of medicine. When you show up for yourself, when you do the hard thing even when no one is watching, when you honor the commitment you made to yourself in the dark, when no one would know if you broke it, something in your nervous system begins to change. You start to trust yourself again. And that trust is worth more than any motivational speech, more than any course, more than any mentor. The most powerful voice in your life is the one inside you. And every time you do what you said you were going to do, That voice gets louder and stronger and more sure of itself. Marcus spent 6 months getting up at 5 a.m. before he had a single visible result to show anyone. 6 months of grinding in the dark, of his co-workers asking him why he looked tired, of his old friends thinking he was going through something, and he was going through something. He was going through a transformation so fundamental that it would have been invisible to anyone who hadn't experienced it themselves. He was learning what he was made of, and what he found surprised him. He found that he was made of more than he thought, much, much more. By month 7, he had written and launched a small online course about customer service skills, the thing he had accidentally become very good at during his years at the call center. It made $300 the first month. $300 doesn't sound like much, but to Marcus, it wasn't money. It was proof. It was the universe responding to him for the first time in his adult life. It was confirmation that the gap between who he was and who he was meant to be was crossable. It was crossable, and he was crossing it. Now, I want you to pause for a second here because I want you to notice something about Marcus's story that I don't want you to miss. He didn't wake up one morning with a brilliant idea. He didn't stumble into perfect circumstances. He didn't find a mentor who handed him a roadmap. He started in the dark with nothing but a cracked open chest and a daughter drawing pictures. He started imperfect. He started unsure. He started in pain. And that might be the most important sentence I say in this entire video. You don't have to start right. You just have to start. Because here's what the grind culture people get it. Everything you want is on the other side of discipline, not some version of discipline that lives in the future when the timing is better and your energy is higher and your circumstances have changed. The discipline that is available to you right now in this moment with what you have, where you are. Success is never on discount. Greatness is never on sale. But it is available every single morning to the person who decides to reach for it. Let that person be you. Go earn it. The world is waiting for what you're about to build. If this moved you, if this found you at the right moment, leave a comment below and tell me what you're going to do today. What's the one hard thing? I want to know. Share this with someone who needs it right now, someone who's been sleeping on themselves, someone who's one decision away from everything changing. Hit that like button if you believe that the best of your life is still ahead of you, because I believe it. And now it's time for you to go prove it.